Welcome to another episode of the Intuitive Move podcast, the place where we shut our minds, open our hearts, so we can overshare. My name is Nadia, and this is your space to find your truth, trust your inner voice, and hopefully laugh off your latest meltdown. Before starting in today's episode, I want to take a moment to say a big thank you to everyone that has reached out after the latest episode, Why I Moved to Australia. I received so many messages, and I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that shared really nice words with me. I hope you like this episode as well. Since this podcast is all about trusting your own intuition, trust that voice that comes from within, I received a couple of questions regarding how do I know that it's really my intuition and not maybe my anxiety or maybe not my mind trying to defend myself from whatever threat it finds. That's a really good question. We should really try to slowly understand when is our mind, when is our intuition. If it comes from a place of anxiety, so how do I know that it's the anxiety and not my inner voice? And the easiest way that I found it helps me differentiate the both of them is that the voice of the intuition is a voice that is very gentle. It's a voice that is calm and says things not always straightforward and not always nice things, but always the message is calm, clear, and assertive. That's the word. The messages that I hear from the voice of my intuition, they are always good for me in the long run. On the other hand, the messages that I hear from coming from my anxiety or my mind or the brain, all in all, those messages come across a little harsh, a little more, a little aggressive, not always kind. A really quick way of knowing if it's the anxiety is that the messages come like it's your own enemy, maybe sometimes. And this voice of the anxiety is full of worst case scenarios as well as getting to conclusions that are always black and white, like always and never type of sentences. For example, oh, you're always looking so badly in the morning, or you're always in a bad mood, or oh, what if you lose your key and then you can't come back to your house? Like those messages are not coming from the intuition. They are messages that come from the brain. And these messages, the voice of the anxiety is not always bad. In fact, this voice, it's good in some cases where it comes to survival and fight for our own life. So it's not like it's always bad, but it's good to understand when it's a place to listen to the voice of the anxiety and when it's not. So if we are asking questions to our own intuition and then we listen the answers from the anxiety, so that will not take us to a good place. In summary, I will say that the anxiety helps us survive and the intuition helps us thrive. Depending on what questions we have is who are we going to listen to. So I think that's a good thing to start knowing in theory and then start to incorporate this knowledge slowly into our everyday life. So if I have a question, does this feel right? Yes, sometimes we need to ask the mind and sometimes we need to ask our intuition. So I thought that's a good way of starting this episode number 2 because we have so many episodes ahead of us and this is a journey. We are navigating and diving into these topics, but we are all learning together. We are learning at the same time. And slowly, with all this year that come ahead, we are going to learn and we will differentiate the intuition from the anxiety. I promise you. Another thing that I wanted to share today is the topic of the episode. learning ballet in my 30s. So, story time. 1 year ago, I found myself in a period of life for the first time in my life where I was between jobs. So, I didn't have a full time job for a few months. This made me realize that I had so much free time for the first time in my life. And I started trying new things. So I decided to take advantage of this time and I enrolled to so many activities, disciplines, sports, everything that you could imagine. At the point that I had so much time that I was trying yoga classes at different places because maybe I didn't like one place, so I tried another and another. I was with so much free time that I tried so many new things. I was trying to connect more with the voice from within and I was trying to listen, okay, what should I try next? Or is this a good week to maybe rest more? Or is this a good week to try new things every day? I was doing all that. One day I was scrolling on my couch and I come across to this ad about ballet workout. And I saw it and I thought, hmm, I never seen this before. I never heard of this ballet workout before. I wonder. As we all know, ballet is a discipline, is a dance, and that it takes so much physical effort and endurance, and it takes so many, the whole body and muscles, and makes, I, I assumed, as everyone could appreciate, that ballet makes you work out a lot. So I thought, okay, well, no, why not give it a try? So I come to this place and I enroll. This place that I went here in Perth wasn't like a dance studio. It was more like a hybrid, a little workout, hybrid with a little dance. But the place was focused on the workout that comes from ballet. And I came to this class, I think it was called Ballet Workout. That was the name of the class. And I cannot explain very well what happened in this class. So I come and I start this lesson, even though I normally worked out in the previous days before that, I felt so stiff and that I couldn't really move well according to the movements. But I still did the lesson from the best of my abilities. And something happened. So when the class started, I looked at the time and it was 6:15, so 15 minutes after the class started. And then when I looked again, it was 7:15. So I remember some of the exercise that we did, but not really, I don't really know how the time went so quickly. And I wonder if that ever happened to you when you're enjoying so much an activity that the time goes by and you think, what happened? Like, what was I doing in this period of time? That's when I realized, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And I decided to pay attention to that feeling of, okay, I'm really enjoying this. Maybe I should make a note and then hopefully practice again. Unfortunately, after that class, I realized that place was a little expensive for what I consider the class value should be. So I didn't come back to that place. However, I did make a note about, okay, I really like ballet workout. And I started a campaign of finding a place that I really like and maybe a little more community based because I was looking for that as well. Then I come across to this dance studio, which did a lot of all the disciplines, all the styles from dancing, but it was a place that it was only for adults. And I really like that because sometimes, when you're practicing in a place and you're looking around and there are kids that are better than you, I know sometimes, it kicks your ego. And if you're not ready to see all that, maybe it's challenging. But this place was all for adults and I felt very welcome and I enjoyed. So 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago, I enrolled to Ballet Beginners. It was a course that it was fully focused on the ballet style. So I started learning ballet 1 year ago. The thing is, I cannot explain how many things I learned. So I'm gonna answer some questions that I got from this crazy thing about starting ballet in my 30s. Because really, when I say that I do ballet for only 1 year, people say, really? Like, did you just start? You were grown up and everything? And I said, yes, I'm happy to answer all the questions that I got. So, first, what first sparked your interest in learning ballet as an adult? And the answer is I didn't know that I had an interest of learning ballet as an adult. I just got the interest after practicing a little bit. And I think this is so important to realize that sometimes when people ask you, what do you like? And you don't know, that doesn't mean that you don't like anything. That means that you should get exposed to new things. And from all those new things, you will find something that you really like. So, one thing I can say is, in general, my background from Argentina. So, I'm a Latin American girl, and in general, I love dancing. Ballet was I never practiced ballet before. I only practice like social dances like salsa, bachata, all those things that are more free and don't have like a huge structure. And that answers the second question. Have you ever done any kind of dance before, or was it a completely new territory? So, not fully a new territory, but it was the first time in my life that I practiced a dance in a studio with an instructor, like properly learning. If I recall well, I only went to 2 or 3 reggaeton lessons back in Argentina when I was around 20 years old. And that was the only dance that I practiced. So as you can see, I only danced reggaeton, salsa, bachata, so these styles that are not don't have a huge structure. Or that's what I think, because I didn't practice them professionally. And another question I got is, how did you feel walking into your very first ballet class? I love this question because during my first ballet class, I felt like I was back in uni in the first day, first subject. I felt like, wow, I know nothing about this and I want to learn everything. That's what I got. I was so excited about feeling that craving, the learning, and not only the knowledge, but the experience. So, unlike when I first started university back then, when I was 18-year old in Argentina, I felt, okay, I want to learn everything. I want to become an engineer. Here, I am like, I want to experience everything. I want to see what my body is capable of. So that's the difference. But at the same time, I find similarities about not knowing anything about this style and wanting to learn everything. So that's what I feel. And I really love talking about this because I wouldn't have known any of this if I hadn't tried that first ballet workout class. So I'm so grateful that I clicked on that Insta ad. So not all Insta ads are bad. So imagine, see how I clicked on the added my details, then the place contacted me and I got started. And I think that's when it comes the time of listening to your own intuition. So you can get exposed to millions of bits of information. We, in our brain, we process information just like a computer, just like a drive. And we store, but now we have the duty also of filtering. So how do we filter these millions of bits of information that we get exposed to every single day with our inner voice, with our senses? You know what makes sense for you and where it doesn't make sense for you. So I trusted that I really wanted to try that. and I did it. And I'm so glad I did because of all the things that I'm going to share right now. Another question I got asked a lot is, what surprised you the most about that first class? I want to say this. Well, the thing that surprised me the most is that I thought during the class, oh my God, I was looking at myself and the other ladies in the mirror, and I thought, oh my God, we already look like we are dancing ballet. That was the first thought. Because, when you think of ballet, you think of the performances and acts from the theater, that they are extremely professionals and perfect. But you never think of that you will already look like you dance ballet if you're in your first class. I never would have thought so. However, I was watching ourselves in the mirror and I thought, this is so nice. We are already, positioning the hands and learning to correct the shoulders and the back, like so many little things. And overall, we already look like we dance ballet. And that was mind blowing because it was only the first class. Were there any moments where you thought, what have I gotten into? What have I gotten myself into? Not really. I think during the last year, there were some lessons where I thought that the teacher was maybe a little harsh. And I thought, in those moments, I thought, oh, why are you coming here to suffer? Like, it was only a couple of lessons. And I also thought that the teacher is human and he also can run out of patience. But in those times, which at the same time, I think I was having a hard time at work. So I thought, why Nadia, are you choosing to suffer? That's what I thought. But definitely 99% of the time, I really enjoy myself during the lessons. Another question I get asked a lot is, how did your body respond to the training physically and mentally? And this is the thing. So my body started responding to the ballet classes after 4 months of practicing once a week. After 4 months, I noticed that I was more flexible. I wasn't so stiff anymore. I noticed that my leg muscles in the whole leg, they improved, I didn't have a lot of muscles there and I had new muscles. I, I think I improved a little bit my posture. Um, Definitely I feel strong in my back, legs, and also in the glutes. So all that area, it's like never in my life I had so much muscle. Another question I get asked a lot. Um, did you see it as just a hobby or something deeper from the start? At the beginning, I thought, well, I love having this hobby. But then I thought, why can I not be that person that shows the world that it's possible to start ballet in your 30s? So I thought, maybe in 5 years, I could do a presentation. I'm sure not as a professional. Well, actually, I don't know. But I can always, in 5 years, I could always be, much better and I can present. And who knows what level I'll have in 5 years. But if you really want, I think everything is possible. So I want to be that person that shows the world you can start ballet in your 30s. Maybe you will not have this completely open turnout and all these body parts that adapt to ballet when you're very little. But you can still dance and you can still do the style and you can still protect your body from injuries. Another question I get asked a lot is, how do the principles of ballet, like discipline, grace, and presence, all these things that we know about ballet, show up in the outside of the studio? So discipline, grace, and presence. I've got a lot of things to say about this. So discipline, yes, it helps, to be accountable with oneself and try to go every single week to all the lessons. That's one thing I'm struggling at the moment. But as always, when I'm changing roles at the moment and the same organization, so that takes some effort. However, I'm doing my best to go every single week. And so the discipline, definitely, it keeps you accountable. When you skip one week, you pay the tax in the following week. Grace, well, this is a big one because I love the teacher. So my teacher is called Justin, and he always says, your face should look like lit up. You know, the face that you put when you find a friend on the street, like you get excited, or the face that you put when you're touring in your house. Say that you move to a new house and your friend comes to visit, you're showing the house and you are excited and like all energetic, showing the new place. So that's the face that you should have while practicing ballet. And I definitely incorporated this into the office. Sometimes I will be looking around and all my coworkers will have this face of like dying, and I'm like, okay, I can bring the ballet face. And I was like this, and people look at you like responding in the same way, and I feel like people treated me better because I had this happy but not like smiley face. It's like lit up face kind of thing. And the presence. One thing that from ballet you can bring to life to the outside of the studio is the presence, because you can do all the positions in ballet, you can do it almost perfect. But if you don't have the presence, if you don't ground correctly, if you don't show, okay, this is me, I'm happy and I'm showing you in my best energy, the best of me, that presence that you learn from ballet can definitely can definitely be brought to work, and can definitely be brought to all the aspects of your life. And I really like that. I think, I know it sounds crazy, but you know, as people compare life with a soccer match, like in Argentina, we always have examples like teamwork and things from soccer, and you can apply to life. I found that ballet can also be applied to life. Maybe it's more individualistic, but why not? Why not bring things that you learn in one discipline and you bring to other areas of your life? I really like that. And what has ballet taught you about patience and progress? Ooh, but in ballet, you have to have a lot of patience. So your body will respond, but will respond when it's the right time. And that is so hard for someone that wants, action and reaction, action and consequence. When you're like me, like you want to do things and see the result, ballet will help you a lot to ground and connect to the process instead of connecting yourself with the result. It helps you, okay, here you are and you're learning to get here. But ballet is perfect if you have anxiety for the future, practice ballet, because it will bring you, okay, you're here and then tomorrow you'll be a little better. And the day after you'll be a little better. And in 1 month you'll be a little better. But don't rush. This is the right pace. You will not go faster unless a lot of time passes. So that's a great learning. Patience and progress don't go in a speed. They go at the right time when they have to really go. How do you deal with moments where you feel like you're behind? Oh, compared to others in the class? Oh, this is a really good question. Many times I felt like I was the worst person. I was the worst dancing in the whole studio. And I thought, okay, first of all, you're not coming every single week. So that's the price. Secondly, even if you come every single week, you might be the worst, and that's okay. And thirdly, maybe you're being too hard with yourself, and you're not the worst. It's your mind is tricking you. So either way, I always try to come back. Okay, here you are. That's what you can do. And the teacher, the instructor always says, okay, I don't know that yet, but I'll get it next time. And I'll get it next time. It's okay. I'll get it next time. And I absolutely love that, even though he's very strict and he wants us to give our best. But he also says this, and I feel like, okay, I'll get it next time. As long as you're trying your best, yes, you'll get it the next time. And another question is, did learning ballet at this stage of life feel like an intuitive decision? I think yes, in a way. It wasn't just like, oh, what should I do now? And the intuition said, practice ballet. It went like a little bit, it was like the intuition was dropping the information little by little. So the intuition first said, try this class. Yes, it feels right. Try the class. Then during the class, I was like, do I like it? Yes. So it was like a slow communication with my intuition. And now every day that I go to ballet, it's a confirmation and a confirmation that this is the right place and this is great for your body, for your mind, for your spirit. Like sometimes you really feel like you're flying. I'm not joking. Any funny or humbling moments from class you're willing to share? Well, first, I really want to share this. The teacher, Justin, says very often, is look like you're expensive. You know, when he's trying to fix or help us fix our face and our posture, and you can do two people can do exactly the same, but one has the presence and that charm, and the other doesn't. So the one that is has the presence will look like it's expensive. And I find that really funny. I can't stop laughing when he keeps saying the same joke. I keep laughing every single time because I'm not expecting he's saying that. And I'm like, I'm in the position and he says, look like you're expensive. And I'm like, I laugh. So I think it's a really good thing to laugh at things that you're practicing, or laugh when you can't really do things. Or, for example, in last lesson, we were trying to do, I don't remember the positions still, I'm learning, but I said, I can't really do that. I need to jump really high in order for me to, do the pointing. He said, no, you don't really need to jump high. You need to jump and point faster. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. How did I not know that? Like, I thought that I needed to jump and then do the pointing. I needed more time to point, but no, I needed to be pointing faster. Oh my God. I see how these little things you don't realize, and it's okay. It keeps you humble. And that's another key thing I love about going to ballet. Many times in my life, and I know this might sound arrogant, but in the field of project management, in the field of planning, I'm normally the person that knows the most about that, where I'm working, or maybe even with friends, because it's my job to train others. So I found myself in situations where I was like in quote unquote the smartest person in the room in that topic. And I thought, no, I don't want to be always this. I want to stay humble. I want to learn from others. So going to ballet and any activity that you do, that you go to learn, keeps you humble, keeps you connected with the process and not so much with the result. Keeps you connected with enjoying the during and not the finally. And another question is, how do you see ballet fitting in your life in the future? So uh, I think I can tell you from now, maybe in another year, I see myself doing a presentation, like from the school, talking about the school. And I see myself keep practicing and going to different studios. I really hope to make friends in ballet. I live in Australia and it's a little hard to make friends, but since I'm going to the same places every day, I think I would love to make one or two friends in these places, not always making friends from work, which I love, but also making friends at these hobby things. And what advice would I give to someone who is curious about trying ballet or anything later in life? My advice is go for it if it feels right. You don't need to feel like you need to be perfect and don't look at the end goal. Just try one class and see how you feel. That's my advice. Well, I really hope that you enjoy this episode of the Intuitive Move podcast. Here we are all learning together and we all want to connect with our intuition to make better decisions in our life and also to have an easier life. That's our biggest hope for this podcast. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.